Hi, I'm Mandy, and I hope that what you hear today will mean that you never have to go through the same experience that we did, losing someone that you really love to sarcoma. Like many people, we didn't have a very clear idea of what sarcoma meant. Our story began when my daughter Abby, at the age of 17, started to complain of a pain in her lower back, a severe pain. She went to her GP, who sent her for x-rays, and I knew something was really seriously wrong when we got a phone call to say that her GP needed to see her and he wasn't leaving the surgery until he'd spoken with her. When she came out, we found that she'd been diagnosed with a tumour in her pelvis. Abby was immediately referred to Professor David Wood, a specialist in bone tumours. A series of appointments followed, including an MRI and a painful bone biopsy. 4 weeks after that initial appointment at the GP, she was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic Ewing sarcoma, with a cancer throughout her pelvis, ribs, spine, lymph nodes and lungs. Surgery wasn't an option, and so she embarked on a grueling 8 months of intense chemotherapy with 6 weeks of daily radiation treatment at the same time.
Despite knowing that it would not help change her own future, in the time left to her, Abby was determined to address 2 key issues: awareness and research. SOCOT2 sarcoma is the name that Abby created for her vision. It represents a commitment and dedication to fight sarcoma on these fronts.
Sarcomas are malignant tumours of connective tissue. The connective tissues in the body are those structures that hold you together, like bone, cartilage, ligaments and so on. They're rare tumours and distinct from the more common kinds of cancers such as breast cancer and ovarian cancer, which arise from the glands in the body. There are over 50 different types of sarcomas, all of them rare. Although there are many different types of tumours, they have a common method of presentation, so they will most likely declare themselves with a lump or pain or both of these, and it's important not to ignore these symptoms, as early detection can improve the chances of a cure.
Once sarcoma spreads, it becomes quickly critical and more difficult to treat. The greater the delay in diagnosis, the more invasive the treatment, and prognosis and survival rates decrease dramatically. 40% of patients will lose their battle for life within 5 years of diagnosis. That's 2 in 5 children, teenagers and adults who will not survive. Sarcoma is a tragic, deadly disease, and it's vital that it's detected as early as possible. You need to know what to look out for.
The symptoms are often insidious, so they're not particularly painful. There may have been a lump, they may be quite slow growing, so it may have been there for a while. The lump may not be seen by you, it's on your back, so you can't see it. It may be a pain in your leg that you've just ignored because you assumed it's a bit of arthritis or the sporting injury that you got last month. But it doesn't go away. So the key is, if that lump doesn't go away, that muscular ache or pain that you've been ignoring doesn't go away, don't ignore it. It might be nothing, but it might not.
Louise Wheeler is an example of a proactive young person determined to pursue her own feeling that something was seriously affecting her. She persisted in seeking answers and, as a result, was treated by surgeon Richard Carey-Smith, whose dedicated team saved her leg from amputation. Limb salvage becomes a real option if bone cancer is detected early enough. Doug Hodson counts himself very fortunate. After investigating chronic pain, a large sarcoma was detected. The Hollywood Charles Gardner sarcoma team, led by Professor David Wood, treated and removed the sarcoma on his left side 4 years ago. The team has monitored and assisted Doug's recovery ever since, and he credits the team with his recovery.
Sarcoma is treated by a big team: surgical oncologists, radiation oncologists, nurse advocates, physiotherapists, and psychosocial support workers. The sarcoma team is inspired by a young man named Adam. He was an amateur baseball player who is now a wheelchair basketball player after losing his leg to sarcoma.
I thought that I was invincible, and I was, always nothing could bring me down, but I was diagnosed with an osteosarcoma when I was 17 after I broke my leg. Found out the reason that I'd broken my leg was because of the osteosarcoma. I underwent 2 rounds of chemotherapy. The tumour had still grown. Then I had to have my leg amputated, followed by 9 months of chemotherapy. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support team that I had around me, not only the doctors and nurses and hospital staff, but also my family and friends who were there for me every step of the way.
The inaugural Abby Basson Sarcoma Research Scholarship holder, Rachel Jones, is currently investigating the factors that influence the chemical reactions of sarcoma, a crucial step towards finding a cure. Socket to Sarcoma is also funding 50% of a senior research position in sarcoma at the Perkins Institute. With continued research and early detection, the prospects for survivors can be significantly improved.
Our team needs as many supporters as we can get, and we need your support. Our team can only be as strong as the people behind them, and that's us. It's vital that the funding is increased.
We need to make sure that more funds can be put into more research, and that's a win for all of us.
We estimate that 300,000 more hours of dedicated research and manpower are required to close in on the following goals: education for early detection and development of the most targeted treatments. We want you to buy an hour of life for people you don't know, and for people you might. From diagnosis to survivorship, Socket to Sarcoma is committed to ensuring gold standard holistic care for any West Australian and their families who are affected by sarcomas. With donations, fundraising events and your support, Socket to Sarcoma will continue to provide the resources for the essential research needed to fight and hopefully find a cure for sarcoma.